Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John and it's time for the album review that I know that you've been anticipating. It's Fate. Wait for it. The 8th studio album by the hard rock and metal band Five Finger Death Punch. Me and Five Finger Death Punch have a complicated history, and most viewers of this channel probably already know that. Their past few albums have been sluggish, to be kind. The band themselves have admitted that they were in a rut. Ivan Moody, their lead vocalist, is like, you know, there's some great songs on those albums, which I kind of disagree with that statement, but we've been in a creative rut. Let's break out of that. Fate is our rebirth. Their guitarist Zoltan even said that too, so with them echoing these sentiments, what are we gonna get on Fate? I'm all about equal opportunity for any band out there, so I tried to cleanse my mind and I thought to myself, you know, I've liked a few songs from FFDP in the past. I mean, Coming Down is good. I liked a few tracks from The Way of the Fist, and their ballads tend to be a little bit stronger than their I'm in your face, I'm chugging Monster Energies in my tap-out tank all day. Inside Out was released as the lead single, and the opening instrumental section is not bad. It's okay, it might be a little bit predictable, but for the hard rock that's played on the mainstream radio and in that styled circuit, it's just fine. But once we get past that minute mark, Ivan Moody comes in and clenches down his fist just saying the same old shit that he always rants about. Ivan Moody is an open book, as he describes himself, yet the book only has 3 pages. Even with that mediocre offering coming first, it's still an entire album. They could turn over a new leaf. I was very relieved to see that Scar Tissue was not a Red Hot Chili Peppers cover, and they don't actually have any covers on the album, something that, alarmingly, their fans seem kind of upset by. But I was kind of intrigued. It's like, okay, are they actually going for some sense of originality here? And as I made my way through the rest of the album, those thoughts and those hopes dissipated more and more. These guys know their target demo, and I cannot imagine anyone outside of the support the troops core that actually unironically listens to this music. I mean, maybe it's the big dudes at the gym. Maybe it's just somebody that somehow feels empowered by that, and I can't step on any toes and say that you don't feel that way or take something away when you listen to it. But these messages are so razor thin, and while there's a few attempts to break outside of the box, it rarely occurs. The guitar solos are safe. The borderline passive-aggressive lyrics that talk down to anybody that might step in your way, watch out bro. It's all so formulaic, so laughable and cheesy. The big tough guy act, like get out of my way or I'm going to fuck you up. I mean, can we leave this microaggression back in the early 2000s? The biggest problems with And Justice for None and Got Your Six is that they tried so hard to be meaty, but really as soon as you started cutting into it, it's like, oh, it's all just fat. It's all stuff that you don't actually want to eat. Maybe it looks appealing to a hard rock fan in the distance or somebody who enjoys metal. But even from a musical point of view, you have to admit that those records were lazy. And Fate, while there are some attempts at stepping up the quality, there's a few tracks, especially early on, where I can feel that the drums or the guitar, they were actually trying to pump some sort of life in there, but the lyrics consistently bring them down. And Ivan Moody does have those vocal moments where it seems like he's genuinely trying to calm himself, quelling a fear within himself, doing some introspection, and those are the only moments that I enjoy on the album. I mean, I've seen Ivan be great on the vocals. Motigrator back in the day, even some of the early Five Finger Death Punch material, even though I might not care for the lyrics. Vocally, I can see it from an objective point of view and be like, this guy has the pipes if he has the right song. But the problem is that this album, Fate, once again squanders time by just sitting around on the thumbs, screaming at people from the sidewalk. We open up this album on an instrumental called Fate, the title track, and it sounds ominous, cinematic, and then we go straight into Inside Out, which features some punchy riffs that are just fine, as I alluded to previously. The track itself is okay, I could toss it aside and never hear it again. I probably wouldn't lose any sleep at night. But then again, it's not awful, and I can see why some people might gravitate to it, even though it's not for me. Full Circle continues this full-on assault like I'm ready to put up my hands and do something about you, but I'm not entirely sure what. And the instrumental does have a sense of vigor to it. I can feel the punchiness, I can see why they're trying to grab me, but I don't fully connect with the piece, and they just start slowly losing me more and more as the album goes on, and the lyrics get cringier and cringier. Confrontational, misplaced anger is probably the best way that I could quickly summarize the majority of the tracks from To Be Alone, with that relentlessly agitating hook that continues to come back. But even worse than that, This Is War. Fuck this song. I do not see how anybody could stand up and be like, you know, I'm getting something from this, as Ivan rambles on about shutting the fuck up, get the fuck out of my way, because this is war. Bottom of the Top scrapes by with some abysmal lyrics that I cannot help but laugh at, and it gets even worse on some of these cuts, like Mother May I, Tic Toc in parentheses. They made sure not to spell it like the app though, so there's no confusion because we're too tough, we can't be associated. But also, I would say some of the lyrics on there, like the line Ivan drops off about that's what they say about being special, it's so facepalm worthy, and you wonder, did they actually sit down in the studio and say, you know, this feels very different from what we did before. You know, the last two albums, we were slouching, we were kind of slacking there, but this, Chief, this is it. Like, how did you come to this realization that this is the new chapter, that this is somehow a new leaf? It's just the same old shit, different package. If this is the metal band's attempt at getting serious, buckling down, and reinventing the band, then I'm high-key embarrassed for them, because this album is once again awful, yes, better than their past two releases, but still, not by that much. The lyrics are painful, the vocals are so overly aggressive for no reason, and I don't believe any of the emotion coming out of them. I don't take much away, it's in one ear, out the other. I guess you listen to this when you're a loose cannon drunk at the bar or else rowdy at a show, but outside of that crowd, then I couldn't see this really being for anybody. For me personally, I will give this a 2 out of 5, a slight upgrade from Injustice for None, and I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Can't wait for the first comment that says I wouldn't say this to Ivan Moody's face and is ready for a fist fight with me in the comments, but do me a favor, hit the like button if you enjoyed this review, subscribe for the love of music, and if you want to check out my last FFDP review, then tap here or tap here for an album that I actually really loved. Go check that out and cleanse your ears. Other than that, socials in the description, and I'll see you soon for more on ARTV.